Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. This is the Privacy Edition, recorded live 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, we'll go ahead and jump on into the privacy news and talking about private internet access. If you are in need of a VPN, consider using my private internet access link, tlm.li/PIA. That'll gain you access to an affiliate link, so that's a great way you can help support the channel. Also, check out switchedtolinux.com/affiliates. With this, for $40, you can get 1 full year access to their servers. You can connect, 5 or 6 devices simultaneously at this point in time. They block out all these trackers and things like that. So with that being said, feel free to check out the link there, and we'll go ahead and jump on into the privacy news. So, first, California. We've been talking about Ring, I think almost every single week. There's been something about Ring for, I think, the last 2 months, maybe? I don't know. Well, it turns out that, of course, California has this new California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, and there's been a bunch of companies going in attempting to weaken the law because it basically says that a person can say, hey, you got to delete everything you have about me because I don't want you to have that data. And of course, all these big companies are jumping in going, oh no, this would be bad. This would be really, 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 really bad. I mean, it would hurt our bottom line. Oh, wait, hold on. We got to come up with an excuse that sounds good. Well, it turns out that one of the head lawmakers voting on this bill is married to a head executive at Ring. Okay, maybe it's about time to kick the person out of office. I mean, really. But it does turn out that everybody who is voting against this bill all has a lot of stock in a lot of these tech companies. Funny. Well, anyway, looking into it, so basically Amazon, who now owns Ring, has put, what's the amount? It's in here somewhere. They've put hundreds of thousands of dollars into lobbying against this bill and another bill. There's been 2 privacy bills there. And there's several different lobbyist groups all going against it because basically it says, hey, any person can get the information that you have and you must delete it upon their request. It's basically the first version of the GDPR that we have here, which I think the GDPR overall is a very good thing. We are in a dangerous world when it comes to all of this data collection and storing and all this kind of stuff. And so with all this being said, I think it's a great thing that we want to come in and say, hey, we need to have a little bit more privacy in what we are doing. And so with this, we kind of start to see, again, the dangers of lobbying. And this is why it's my firm belief that we need to just simply ban lobbying. If we ban lobbying, we've probably solved the vast majority of all of our stuff, all of our issues, all of our problems inside of the political world. Just ban lobbying. Ban it. Okay, the politicians need to come in here. They need to do the proper job to do what the constituents in their regions tell them to do. This is not them getting into office for the purpose of voting how they want to better themselves, better their companies, better their cronies. They are elected into office to do what the people who have elected them should do. And so what they need to do is go in, determine what the people want, and then do that. And if they can't do that, then they need to be completely and permanently kicked out of office. Get them out of there. Put in people who will actually do what the people want. That's what the purpose of our political system is. Unfortunately, it's been completely co-opted by big business. So, let's ban lobbying as a first thing. Let's also make these term limits better while we're at it. All right, Freedom to Tinker released on this one. So this actually is a summary of a paper done by Princeton. And what they're doing here is they're looking at all of the advertising and digital tracking that is involved in the streaming type services, your box top services. We all know that the mobile phones are tracking everything we do. The computers are tracking everything we do. Computers, it's so much easier to get all those the tracking figured out. Mobile devices, it's quite a bit harder. Now, I run Lineage on my mobile device, and on Lineage, on that device, I can actually add a custom hosts file so I can get around a lot of this ad tracking nonsense. but it's very hard to do on your desktop streaming boxes. And so what this Princeton article did is they looked at Roku and Amazon Fire TV and looked at how these are measuring and collecting all of our data and collecting all this data. And so they focused on these two because these ones here do not have the large subscription services built into them necessarily, and so they make their money by selling ads. And part of that is to figure out and collect data about what people are actually watching. And so you can, of course, get all of these, all the links here on the website at switchedtolinux.com. There will be a link for that in the description of this video. And in here is the Princeton paper. If you'd like to read all about it, you can go ahead and do that. But what they found is that Google and Facebook are the most important, like the most high priority systems, with several other ones in there as well. The information contains the video titles, the channel names, permanent device identifiers, and wireless SSIDs. Countermeasures made available to users are ineffective at preventing tracking. I'm going to give you one in a minute, though, that will. And Roku has a vulnerability. Well, maybe it will. Roku has a vulnerability that allowed malicious web pages visited by Roku users to geolocate users, read device identifiers, and install channels without their consent. That's exciting. Before you know it, never mind. We're not going to complete that. So this is a list. This one here is the various trackers in Roku. And so, of course, gaming, they have a lot of different trackers, number of tracking domains, and channel rankings. So gaming had a lot of tracking domains, movie and TVs, a lot of tracking domains, music, not a lot, religious, not a lot. Apparently nobody cares if you believe in God as long as you're playing video games and watching TV. We have some sports. Sports is less than I thought it would be. Special interest is pretty high. News and weather is insane. That's Roku, I'm sorry, Fire TV. So, of course, you can see very similar results. Again, music pretty low. They're not doing religious tracking. And then they have, the number one is Google, which owns doubleclick.net, Google Analytics, and then Scorecard Search. And there's just several other ones in here as well. Facebook.com is actually near the bottom of this list. I'm not sure if Scorecard or anything is related to Facebook. Not sure if any of these other ones are. Vimeo's there. That's interesting. All right. And ad IDs, channel names, serial numbers, states, zips, and identifiers. Android ID, Mac, serial number, device ID, ad ID, zip, city, Wi-Fi SSID, channel name, and state. A lot of different data is being collected by all these set-top boxes. Now, how can you get around this? If you have a way to block these network connections above the device. So this is going to mean, if in my case where I'm running pfSense, where I can add a custom block script, that's an option. If you don't do that, then you can pick up a Raspberry Pi and either run QuidSub's SnowTrack or you can run Pi-hole. Either of those are good alternatives that you can custom block all these different things, put it on your network, and it should work. Now, the only downside is sometimes if you're running an ad blockers, it will prevent any video from playing at all. That's possibly what they're doing, but it's something you can try out. So with that, that's exciting. Facebook is planning to launch its own Supreme Court for handling takedown appeals. That is right. This will cause meaningful change. So if you have a post taken out on Facebook, you can appeal it, and the appealant is going to go through a panel of people that Facebook appoints. Yeah, it's going to be objective. And Zuckerberg's like, they will be binding. I will not have anything to do with this. Who cares? At this point in time, it's going to be, something that was taken down by your underpaid people who are out in the background, offing themselves, but you don't really care because they're just like paid robots anyway. And then eventually somebody will complain, and one of those people that will complain, they'll have a post down, and then when the review board of only 40 people actually get around to viewing the thing, it's going to be something that you attempted to post 5 years ago, and by then you're going to be stopping using Facebook anyway because they're insane. So anyway, this article makes a very good point from Ars Technica, where right now they have over 40,000 contractors working around the clock. 30,000 contractors working around the clock, and they cannot keep up with all the posts. Facebook is expecting a panel of 40 people to moderate this. Something is wrong with their ever-loving minds over there at Facebook. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments down below. And on to our feature story for the day. This is something new that iOS 13 is doing, where they're giving you privacy pop-ups anytime a background app is trying to collect certain types of information. So this is kind of a cool thing. So Apple rolls this thing out. The people who are using this platform, basically what's happening is someone's walking around, they already have iOS 13, maybe they're one of the testers for it, and then they're just like getting these random pop-ups all over the place. Facebook would like to use Bluetooth. Facebook would like to have all your data. Facebook, like this will allow Facebook to find and connect to Bluetooth accessories. This app may also use Bluetooth to know when you are nearby. Interesting. So basically, Facebook's been using a lot of these background things, and Apple users have been reporting that Facebook seems to be asking for a lot of weird and random things. This is kind of like a year back when that one phone company had that novel camera that would pop up instead of having a notch in a phone, which is stupidity, or having, a bevel at the top. They're like, all right, let's solve this with a pop-up camera. And then the people are like, this camera just keeps popping up. Yeah, that just means that the app is taking your picture. It's just for the first time since the camera's called that pops up and you actually know it. Same thing's going on here. Facebook is out here collecting all sorts of data in the background. And of course, they're using things like Wi-Fi. They're using things like Bluetooth. If this new Facebook dating app we talked about recently, this Facebook dating app, this requires you to have location services turned on. So much for Android coming out and saying, we are giving you better control to your privacy stuff. I mean, come on, guys. We have given you back control. You can turn off services at the app level. Yeah, if you guys remember one of the earliest tinfoil hat times I ever did, I showed you that was a sham. It was a false pretense of privacy and security because Android apps, native Android apps, would simply not work if you did not give them the permissions that they wanted. It's like, what is going on? Well, Facebook dating, if you turn off location services, it just won't work. All right, you can turn it on if you want. I mean, if you're using Facebook dating services, get a life. But, with all that being said, though, these apps are doing so much more. And this is why having an app is not necessarily a thing that I think is something that we need to do. If you're using a phone, use your phone as a phone. Use the mobile web browser for almost everything you need to do because it's kind of designed for that anyway. And avoid the apps where at all possible. That's my thoughts. Let me know all your thoughts to all these things in the comments down below.